Well, hey guys, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. The name of this show, Family Game Fight. It sounds a little aggressive.
It's not a good name.
That's what I
I'm
said.
glad you pointed it out.
There are a lot of flaws in the show.
Yeah, this is but one of many. But yes, not only that, but it's very hard to say. Your muscle memory wants to say family game night. So even Kristen, who I have to say, pound for pound, is the most accurate, precise speaker on planet Earth. When she has to do recordings for movies and match her lips to the screen, one take. I watch it all the time. She's a master. She fumbled Family Game Fight
because you
want
to say family game night, and that is the feeling of the show, but it's two families, and because they don't know each other, and you were building it up as it's a battle. We added the word fight. We're still mulling over whether that was the correct
We're
decision.
stuck with it. Yeah. Now we painted ourselves into a corner, and here we are.
So what's the premise? What constitutes the fight, the battle? What are they playing? How are they doing this?
Lots of games, lots of weird games. There's a game called Pie Rollers where Dax and I each get a mystery word, and we have to choose how many clues do we give you before you can guess the mystery word. And we basically bet, and then whichever family takes the bet, the losing family gets a pie to the face. That's a bad game.
Well, they get multiple pies to the face. There's nothing that's bad in the show that doesn't also then occur a million times.
Yeah.
So, and what makes this game show, I think, much different is it originated from Kristen and I doing a bit on Ellen called Taste Buds, where we're blindfolded and I'm tasting a banana. Oh, they're yellow. They grow on trees. Monkeys eat them.
Eucalyptus.
Is what I said. Al, no.
I said.
No. That's a koala clue. So we played this game on Ellen, and it was just an unmitigated disaster for about 3.5 minutes. We are not in on the joke, but we
were really fighting.
And it's objectively the funniest thing we've ever been a part of together as a team. So we stood back from it. And we were like, it's pretty hysterical watching how frustrated we are with each other. What if this was a whole show? So what's different about our show is that we're also competing against each other. So we're the mascot of our team, and we go head to head nonstop.
And we're trying to win, and each family that comes on, and it can be a pandemic family, a group of friends, anyone who considers themselves family. It doesn't have to be blood.
A Manson family.
Okay, that might end a little differently.
Yeah.
He said it's a dangerous show. And Dax is fighting for his family. I'm fighting for my family to win $100,000. And we're getting ice buckets dumped on our head and down our back. They hook up a tube in this game called Brain Freeze with a big ice watery chunk that has to go down your back and down your pants. And it is one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever done.
And we did it 18 times in a row.
Oh my God.
It would seem, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that you're tempting fate as a couple couples have enough conflict without adding to it and having a national television audience watching. Was there any hesitation in doing this?
I think what you're saying is it's arrogant, and you know what? You're dead right. It's very cocky of us to leave a house with a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. We're already going to kill each other. And then we drive 12 minutes to Warner Brothers and then just do it for another 16 hours straight.
Yeah.
Hey, let's stress test this thing. Let's see what it'll bear.
What we're really made of.
Kristen, you mentioned, like some pandemic families, we're all coming out of this. Are there any lessons that we might have learned during the pandemic that you see with these families that show that they've learned something during this stressful time?
I mean, I would say that a lot of the families that we had on the show, they were very close. They were teammates, and like to the best definition of that. And I think that that's because a lot of these people that came on the show, they spent the last 18 months together. And I mean, certainly learned what we learned, which is that patience and grace is key. I mean, when life is busy, you can make an argument that you're allowed to be snappy with someone. But when you're just sitting in a house, you're sort of like, I've got two choices. I could be frustrated with this person because what they're doing is annoying me, or I could just choose patience and grace and give everybody a little bit of a free pass like I would be asking for. And so the families seemed, I mean, there was a group of Bruins football players, there was
firefighters,
a group of firefighters that had spent the whole pandemic even like working together, because that stuff doesn't shut down just because we have to stay indoors. A group of sisters that spent it together.
But you're right. As the saying goes, you know, you find out who your friends are in adversity, not in triumph. So I think for the last year, they've really figured out, like, oh yeah, who would I pod with? Who can I count on to do this? Who do I trust? I think a lot of people have come out of this with a sense of like who that core is.
I'm fascinated by the choices you guys make, in that, so here you are squished together during this pandemic with your kids, and you know, admittedly driving each other nuts. So you get out of the pandemic, and the first thing you do is get into an even smaller space in an RV and start driving. So explain that choice to me.
Okay. I mean, is this a 6-hour segment? Because I got to start by saying I'm 46. Time is boogieing by. I mean, it is blowing by. I'm sure it's going even at a faster rate for you. I'm committed.
Because I'm old.
Well, not just that you're old, but time it collapses on itself, right?
Sure.
So a year for me is 1/46 of my life. For my 8-year-old, it's 1/8 of her life. Those are different. So I'm obsessed with novelty. I think when you are experiencing new sights, new smells, new tastes, that you are actually slowing time down. You're taking in more data and you're slowing time down. My example would be you go on vacation. First 3 days, you're like, man, I feel like I've been here for a week. Last 2 days are like that. So if you just keep that motorhome moving, you never get to those last 2 days.
And do you feel the same way, Kristen?
I do. Well, that's also a very, very good argument. And in our house, the best, most sound argument wins. So I can make arguments that, like, well, it might be slightly uncomfortable in the motorhome. And then when I look at those two arguments in comparison, I'm like, yeah, I'd take a tiny amount of discomfort, which it really isn't, for a time stretching out. And for some reason, our family, the four of us, have learned how to cooperate in a small space better than a large space. And oddly, I would say that brings back to the pandemic lesson. You make different choices when you can't escape. When you are with someone face to face all the time, you choose wisely, I feel like. And you can, we got along great. The girls like barely fought.
I think we do have some history of, like, as a little team, we'll go away, Kristen will go work somewhere. So all four of us go to a hotel for some period of time. We fly together. We do. I think we've had like a lot of little compartment. One of them's knocking at the door, even though they know they can't.
You take the question. I'll get the child. Hold on. I said, we're on TV right now. We're on the news. And she said, okay. And this, I'm sure, is about the doll's birthday. We found out yesterday that it's her doll's birthday, and now we have to order a cake, and she wrapped like 6 presents yesterday, and now we got to celebrate. She's taking it very seriously. Anyway.
Wow.
She's planning a bacchanalia for this.
But as teammates, as Dax was saying, because we travel as a family when he works or when I work, we support each other no matter how crazy the idea. So we will be celebrating Gloria, the doll's birthday, this evening.
Here's the thing, and you talk about, Dax, gender assumptions. And I think people always assume that boys smell worse than girls. And as the father of 2 girls and a boy, I can tell you that that's not necessarily so. And I understand that there's an issue in your house with that.
Well, they smell like vinegar. And I can't compare them to boys, but it's all kids. And I think you're referring to when we bathe them. It's a smell test. It's a foot smell test. And then you just pop them in the water or the shower or the bath.
Yeah.
But prior to that, it's too much work. So it's every couple
especially
days.
in the summer. So something happens in summer, right? You loosen up the bedtime. All of a sudden, we realize like, oh, geez, now we're watching TV with these kids at like 11 p.m. This went off the rails, and then you're just bathing them far less, and you're kind of leaving them in charge of it, which they're bad at it. And then a whiff will hit you, and you go, oh, it's time.
Yeah.
In fact, it was probably time yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here we are.
Was that the impetus for your line, Hello Bello, for like soaps and products for kids?
Get them clean.
Our kids were because we, we're overpaid and we live in Los Angeles. So we had our, any product that might've been fantastic, we had access to, we could afford. And at a certain point we were like, it's kind of weird if you live in Michigan where we're from and you are middle class, you probably can't have all the stuff we had. And we were just in a really weird position where we could approach a Walmart and start with the economy of scale that allowed us to do really premium, healthy, organic stuff for half the price of the other stuff.
We say it's your mom's ingredients at your dad's prices. And we make the amazing diapers. Hello Bello has the best diapers. And they come in a diaper box when you get the bundle that turns into a toy. Like it'll turn into an airplane. It's like a foldable box. So it's
race car.
Yeah, or a race car or a lemonade stand. We're trying to make it very cool.
Or kindling for your fire in the winter.
Oh, even better.
And then a lot of
it's like the Transformers of kids stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to make it fun and all the stuff you would need for a baby or a kid. And we're putting a lot of thought into it and trying to bring it to the masses because it's about half the price of anything else.
So the girls aren't babies anymore. What now that they're out there and they're these independent, free thinking, free range kids, what are they coming home with that still just kind of gobsmacks you sometimes?
Well, currently into our great horror, our 8-year-old has taken an interest in musical theater. So what's great is, this is really what we're dying for as parents is like you push all this stuff on them 0 to 8. Why don't you try soccer? Why don't you try this? Our life was just taking them all these places they didn't want to be. And we did not push acting because we want nothing to do with it until they're older. We don't want to drive to auditions and stuff. So lo and behold, she's studying like crazy. She's learning like reams of dialogue and songs, and she's just on fire for it. And we're not a part of that. It's just happening, and that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a it's a parenting theory where you just follow the kid, and so we kind of got to follow it. She's loving it. She's doing a lot of little plays. I shouldn't say little. She's doing a lot of plays, and she's doing a great job.
Yeah.
And the younger one is all over the place.
Yeah.
We don't know what her deal is yet.
Planning. Apparently she's an event planner in the making because she has a birthday party for a stuffed animal at least once a week.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody's got to have a skill. So your parents, your producers, your actors, actresses, your game show hosts, you guys leave this crazy life. Is there anything that you've got on the bucket list that you haven't done yet that you want to tackle?
I'm recently obsessed with Formula One, so I do intend to go to see some races in foreign countries, which my lovely bride is going to facilitate because she took a movie in England and in September. And the conversation literally went like this. She said, so I was pitched a movie. It happens in England. It's going to be with my favorite singer, Ben Platt. It's short. I've already figured out what Formula One races you could go to. If you're in England, you could base out of there. Like she came with the big carrot. And I was like, hold on a second. So I might get to go to Turkey to the Formula One race. And she said, yeah, I think that could happen. And I was like, you should take this movie. Sounds like a great movie.
Because when we take any work, we make decisions as a group. Like nobody just something like neither of us would go to New Zealand for 6 months to shoot. It would just be crazy, stressful on our family. So I knew I had to come up with a really good pitch if I wanted to do this movie. And thankfully he bit. And so, we'll be traveling safely this fall.
I won't. I'm going to be juggling chainsaws the whole flight, Cal.
But anything we haven't done, I don't think so. I don't know. We don't strategize, to be honest. It's pretty loosey-goosey around here.
It is. And I got to say, it's a great, great freedom. I lamented about time moving faster. But the freedom of getting older is that I don't have aspirations anymore. There's no one I'm trying to be. We're just here. Sometimes someone calls and says, "You want to come over and do this thing?" And then we do it. Like it's transitioned, at least for me, where it's like the goal has kind of been erased, and I love it. So now it's just really about process every time. Like, would that be fun for us? Would we enjoy doing that? And that's a humongous luxury that is new to us.
You know, I'm a huge animation fan, and I would say you both have some pretty cool animation projects coming up.
Some cooler than others, but yeah. I'm in the Paw Patrol movie, which I did with the sole goal of having something my kids would be excited to see me in. It's a very egotistical, driven decision. And as luck would have it, in about the 2 years it takes to make a movie, I've noticed we're not watching Paw Patrol as much as I would like. I had this whole fantasy where they were going to be counting down the days till Friday. I was going to take them to the movies. We're going to do popcorn the whole nine. And I'm like, hey guys, no one wants to check out Paw Patrol this weekend? Wait, you guys are watching sitcoms? When did this happen?
How about you, Kristen?
Well, two of my friends had this idea to create a kids cartoon in the wake of a lot of arts programs being cut from public schools because the budgets just aren't there. And music was so pivotal to me. It brought me to acting. It brought me to so many different things in my life. So we created this show called Do Re Mi. It'll be on Amazon in September. And
Do Re and Me.
Do Re and Me. I play me. And it's about three little songbirds, and it is entertainment for children, but we have pushed in a lot of there's music theory ideas. They live in this place called Bebopsburg, where like instruments grow on trees. We talk about different instruments. We talk about different types of music from around the world. And it's really a music education class, but masked as a kid's cartoon. So your kids are sort of absorbing all these things that data and science tells us helps their brain with math, with communication, with social activities. Like music actually does that for your brain. It's why they play Little Einstein for babies when they're in the womb. It really does great things for your brain. And so, yeah, these three little songbirds. And then we'll have like games to go along with it that will be educational, where the kids can make their own music and they can learn how to, have teammates in a band and stuff. So we're really hoping that fills the gap of music education for kids, because I think every kid deserves it.
I love the title Queenpins. I mean, it's perfect. Tell me about this.
It's a baller title. Well, it's a true story about these suburban housewives who felt down on their luck, started a counterfeit coupon organization, and they laundered $40 million. And you can read about it in the news. And Aaron and Gita, these beautiful filmmakers, who's a husband and wife team, made it into a script, and I shot it with Kirby Howell-Baptiste, who's one of my favorite actresses ever. This is project number 5 with her, and I will continue to work with her. So it was really fun. It's got Paul Walker Hauser, Vince Vaughn, and it's just a really fun Queenpins comedy about these girls trying to evade the law and make some money. And I had so much fun doing it.
And Dax, one of the great pleasures of technology of these podcasts, and your podcast, we time in and time out is really, it's like this whole other version of you, yet it is you. Are you surprised at how much people love this podcast? I mean, it really is something that it seems like maybe you did on a lark, but my gosh, it is terrific.
Thank you so much. It's a humongous surprise. The trajectory of my working career has been work really hard for a couple of years, and then have the movie come out on Friday, and then want to die on Saturday. So that's my work reward muscle memory is a little skewed, and so yeah, to do something that I worked less hard on and that was really successful is very disorienting. I don't know. But I will say, I think any credit that I could take, I would just have to give it to AA, because I think my original goal in the podcast was like, I get to go to these meetings every week. It's all men. They're sharing openly. They're admitting their character defects, the ways they've erred and what they've learned from it. And I'm picking up all this stuff. And the level of vulnerability and honesty and support is so unique. why doesn't everyone get to experience this? Why does one have to go be an alcoholic to have this peer experience? And so that was kind of the North Star of the podcast. Is like, oh, what if we could do this in public? What if I could start first and go like, oh yeah, all these things happened to me, and this is how I did it. And I messed up this way, and get the ball rolling that way instead of like, how'd you win that Oscar? Boy, you were great. Like, I think there's some other conversation to be had that is not unique to AA, but it was seemingly unique to the podcast space. So I think that's why.
Well, I think the honesty of it and the just almost, and I don't mean this in a negative, but the rawness of it is something that we're just not used to, and in pop, our pop social world right now.
I try when I'm feeling very lofty about myself. I think of it as a bit of an antidote to 140 characters, a curated life of pictures on Instagram, all these things that are snapshots. I'm much more interested in like the whole thing, and not the time that you got the angle where I actually look like my nose is average size. Like, that's not what we're after.
Well, it succeeds, my friend, and to both of you. And before we go, I circle back to Family Game Fight. What was it like? I mean, did you enjoy working together?
More than ever on this one. We just in general enjoy working together because, and we've said this before, so I sound a little inauthentic, but in life, every day there's 9 options for us to disagree. We don't have a common goal. We don't want to eat at the same place. We aren't in the mood to watch the same TV show. We don't have the same opinion on what we should do with the kids as parents. It's just a nonstop waterfall of compromise. When we work together, it's this rare bubble where we have the exact same goal. Like, we want the show to be great. And then even more than that, it's rare, I think, for partners in a marriage to be the benefactor of their partner's genius. So if I'm out on stage in this game show, it's on my shoulders and it's on hers. And she is like, she's John Stockton and I'm Malone, or vice versa. Or she's, I'm Pittman, she's George. Like, I look at her and I go, oh my gosh, she's going to do more than half the lifting, maybe even more than half the lifting. She's so good at this. Watch her go. Oh my God, I feel safe in like my teammate. It's just a rare thing, I think, to get to experience in a marriage. I suck up.
No, it was beautiful. But yeah, he's also said before, you don't get to go to work with your partner and see them thrive. If your partner is an accountant, you don't get to go to work and see them do a spreadsheet or add numbers. Yes, smash a spreadsheet. But we get to go to work and see each other be a sort of in our element and be our best. And it's also the safety net as an actor to have someone you trust so much next to you. So having a common goal mitigates any sort of arguments that could happen or compromises, because we're just on track with a common goal. And that's something really beautiful. And we always come home feeling very grateful for each other.
Yeah, some people go away to like nice hotels for a week to rekindle, and we go shoot for 90 hours and we come out thinking like, yeah, I picked the right one.
And you get paid.
That's right.
Oh, guys.
It's Doji coin, which we regret.
Oh, well, but it's a cute little dog. So.
It is. I think that's what got us.
Gets everybody. Guys, thanks so much. It's great to see you.
Thank you, Al. A lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.